listen differently when I'm settled in my body, when I'm a little bit less wandering in my mind and distracted, when I'm just more present here. And so that's why let's start with a meditation. Make yourself comfortable. It's usually good to have your back straight and your chest open and receptive, your shoulders relaxed. And to find your posture, sometimes it's good to imagine you are a blade of grass swaying in the wind very softly, back and forth to the side, until you find the right place where you feel relaxed and upright. Let yourself settle into the sensations in your body. Let your whole body be filled with presence, with loving awareness. And notice the space within and around you. And fill the space within and around you with awareness, with a sense of knowing. Being alive and present. And notice your face relaxing, your shoulders dropping, your heart relaxing with the exhale. And then notice the whole totality of your body. The felt sense of your body as a whole. feel your whole body as alive and present. Sounds coming and going, passing through. Arising out of nothing and disappearing again. And again, feel the whole felt sense of your body. The entirety of your body. As if you feel every inch, every centimeter of your body. Every pixel. And from this field of body awareness, body awareness with intensity, acuity, aliveness. So from this field of body awareness, notice breath arising with the inhale, letting go with the exhale. Notice the sensation and movement of your natural breath. As it arises with the in-breath, let's go with the out-breath. Touching back in to the entirety of body felt sense. For breath to brush in naturally. Breath arising with the in-breath, letting go with the out-breath. falling back into the whole field's sense of body sensation. Breath brushing in naturally. And increase the intensity of your awareness of breath and body. And even look a little closer. Bring a little more awareness to the sensation and movement of breath and body. And should your mind wander, just bring it back again and again to body and breath. Strengthening this muscle of refocusing attention. And again, intensify your focus, the focus of your awareness on body and breath. And as you heighten your awareness, sense of presence, let yourself rest in this perspective of presence, of awareness. And within this field of awareness, notice breath arising with the in-breath, letting go with the out-breath. Being aware of breath from the perspective of this vast, spacious field. And return to the sensation of your whole body.
So, as Radhule said, the theme we wanted to reflect on with you all this morning is that of reciprocity and interdependence, which is, which has all kinds of implications, and we can maybe tease some of those out in our discussion. But it's sort of a counterpoint to our understanding of ourselves as isolated units. It's a very different understanding of who we are, of what our kind of fundamental identity is. And that has all kinds of implications for how we experience ourselves in the world, for how we respond to suffering, for what we, it has ethical implications as well, as Radhule said. So we'll maybe touch on some of those later in our discussion, but I wanted to just share with you some thoughts and then a practice or a meditation around reciprocity itself. And to begin with, I don't know if you've all heard of this before, but it's called the Mobius strip, and it's actually made from a single strip of paper, which is kind of turned 360 degrees, end to end, connected. And then if you follow around, if you start on the outside and you follow it around to the back, you'll notice that what was the outside becomes the inside. And then if you follow the inside over to the left there, if you follow the inside as it tracks around from left to right, and then goes to the back, what was the inside becomes the outside. So it's all continuous, but it's kind of just a very simple structure, but also metaphor for how there's really no separateness between what's inside and what's outside, that one is seamlessly connected to the other. And I think it can maybe, as an image, can also help us to think about our relationship with others, and indeed with the other than human world. That we're not just, separate little particles or billiard balls, but our connection with others and with the other than human world is more like what we see here, kind of this sort of seamless flowing interconnection from us to others and others to us. This is a picture I took, I think it was last October in Bodh Gaya in India, and this is the actual spot where Gautama, the Buddha, sat, pretty much where that little, you can see in the middle of the picture there in an orange gown, a monk with his back to us. And that's very close to the spot where Gautama Siddhartha, who was to become the Buddha, sat. And he sat under an ancestor of the very tree that's growing there next to the stupa, next to the spired temple. And the spired temple, or the stupa, is literally on the spot where he was sitting, on the east side of the tree. And so that's where Gautama had his awakening. And he sat under that tree, and I think I've shared this story before, but and it's one you're all familiar with. But the Buddha sat under that tree for a purpose, and the reason he sat there was to understand the nature of suffering. What creates such suffering in the world and in human experience? What causes so much suffering, and how can we find freedom from that suffering? He'd witnessed this. He'd seen old age, sickness, death, poverty, and injustice, and he wanted to understand the root of this suffering so that he could perhaps be part of helping others find freedom from that suffering. So he sat under the tree, and he was determined to stay sitting under the tree until he understood and had an answer to those questions. And Radhule mentioned our friend Joanna earlier, and she has a wonderful book called Mutual Causality in Buddhism and Systems Theory, which sounds like a mouthful. And the book it's not a mouthful, but it's a serious book, but it's not impossible.
It is.
Oh no, it's not impossible. It's challenging, but it's not impossible. Mm-hmm. But for any of you who really would like to kind of study and understand in more depth this concept, really direct you there. So these are anyway quotes from that book, where she's talking about the Buddha's awakening. She says, "It was then in the crucible of his unwavering attention that the realization of dependent co-arising swept over him. The process nature of reality became clear. The process nature, that nature is a process, that reality is a process. He beheld the flowing interaction of all things as they arise, as they provide occasion and context for each other's emergence and subsiding. All aspects of our world and all factors of our lives subsist, he saw, in a dynamic web of interdependence. But these currents of relationship are not visible, they're invisible. To the physical eye, we look like separate projects walking around in separate bodies. That's the great delusion of separateness, as it's been called. The Buddha called this interconnectedness paticca samuppada, which means dependent co-arising. So what he saw in that moment is that the nature of reality, how reality is dependent co-arising. It's not linear causality. It's not A causes B, causes C, causes D, and so on. It's more like two hands come together and arise into something new that's manifest, that subsides for a little bit, or that exists for a little bit, and then subsides back into this constantly interweaving, interflowing, interconnected web of energies. And that suffering is the delusion of separateness. Suffering comes from our thinking we're separate, and basing our behavior on that. But that's not how it is. And so if we can recognize how it is, and drop into that and experience that and act from that, it can lead us into freedom from that suffering. So this is very much what Gautama would have been looking up into as he was sitting under the Bodhi tree. This is a branch of that very Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya. And these are Bodhi leaves, which, as you can see, have a sort of a heart shape, and then they've got this long kind of tapering tail. And I can just imagine him sitting there under the tree hour after hour, and maybe spending some of his time actually looking up into those leaves. And I can imagine that perhaps he may have had the insight or the understanding that kind of led to this sense of interdependence could possibly have come from realizing that he and the leaf were not separate, that somehow his breathing out was leaves breathing in, and that his breathing in was leaves breathing out. And that intuition could have perhaps given rise to his insight of interdependence. And reciprocity, the word reciprocity, using the word reciprocity, obviously it's a word we use in our everyday language, where we realize that, we affect each other, and we each get something from that relationship, and we each need something from each other. But reciprocity is a concept that's really very valued and recognized as being at the very heart of things from an indigenous worldview, from indigenous cultures. Really recognize also that this is how things work. That things work through interdependence, but also because we need each other, and we need each other just as we need the leaves literally to be alive. We would not be alive if they weren't making oxygen, which we can breathe in, and they would not be alive if we weren't breathing out carbon dioxide, which they need to take in to make sugar and energy, and then they release oxygen as in return. So there's this interconnectedness, but also this mutual sustenance and invigoration that comes from that interflowing. So that's kind of reciprocity. And so then just to lead into the meditation, this is where Radhule and I were lucky enough to be last week. Well, last week you had just returned from here, but we had just been there, and
2 weeks.
You'd been up there for 2 weeks, and I was up there for a week. But this is Big Sur on the west coast of California, and it's kind of up. We were up in the hills there in a little cottage, and both of us doing some writing. And this is looking down the coast, and you're sort of above the cloud line. You can see, I mean, that's the ocean, but it's covered in clouds, and the hills then to the side. But it's also the home of some great redwood forests, the California redwoods, most magnificent trees. which the tallest trees on Earth, which are over hundreds of feet high. And so I actually spent a lot of the time in the redwood forest. I found a little spot there where I could write, and that's where I spent several hours every day. But so I was, really very blessed. But what I wanted to show you is that if you look closely at into the furrowed trunk of the redwood, you see all kinds of interesting things. And here, coming out of the furrowed trunk of the redwood, is this little green shoot. And I was kind of struck by this, that beneath the little green shoot is another little shoot that is brown, and it's brown because it's dead. It's not living anymore, and it's not living anymore because it's not connected. It's not connected to the web, the living web of the tree and the forest that it needs for its nurturance and its sustenance and its aliveness. But the little green shoot above that is very much alive. And so that's what I want to take as a starting point for our meditation, this little shoot in the redwood. And so just invite you once more to close your eyes. Straight back, soft shoulders, soft belly. And allow your awareness to drop down into your body, all the way down to the ground, all the way down to the earth. And allow your awareness to drop into the sensations of firmness and solidity, sensations of contact between your feet and the ground, your seat and the chair. For just a few moments, allow yourself to rest in those sensations of firmness and solidity. When you're ready, allow your awareness to rise up, filling the whole space of your body, from the soles of your feet, from your seat, to the crown of your head, mindfully aware. And as you're mindfully aware within your body, notice where in your body you're most aware of the sensations of breath, the rise and fall of your belly, the rise and fall of your chest, or the subtle flow of air moving in and out of your nostrils. And wherever you're most aware of the sensations of the movement of breath, allow your awareness to alight on the sensations of breath like a feather on a wave. Rising with the inhale, falling with the exhale. as your body continues to breathe, I invite you in your imagination, in your mind's eye, to imagine that you're standing before this redwood in the forest. And in your mind's eye, or if you prefer, you can do this. Open your eyes and look at the trunk of the redwood in front of you, with its furrows, with its grooves, with its grays and browns and rusts, with its cobwebs. And notice close by this little green shoot that's emerging from a groove in the bark of the redwood. And I invite you to pay attention to this little green shoot, to look carefully at the leaves, the individual leaves, to look carefully at the little kind of brush budding at the tip of the green shoot. And I invite you to choose just one little needle, one little tiny leaf in this stem, in this green stem, and to pay all your attention to that one tiny little green leaf. Notice how it's connected to the stalk. Notice its greenness. Notice its relationship to the other little leaves to either side. Notice any other sort of distinguishing characteristics. And as you look at this tiny little leaf, I invite you in your mind's eye once more to imagine closing your eyes and once more allowing your awareness to drop down into your body and to alight on the flow of the sensations of breath, the sensations of the inhale, sensations of the exhale. And know that your inhale is this little leaf's exhale. And your exhale is leaf's inhale. And in your mind's eye, or if you prefer, opening your eyes and looking at the leaf before you, as you look at little leaf, as you look at its greenness, at its freshness, at its newness, know that your breathing in is leaf's breathing out. That your breathing out is leaf's breathing in. And gently bring your awareness back to the sensations of breath. The sensations of breath with the inhale, sensations of breath with the exhale. And I invite you to surrender your awareness to the flow of sensations of breath, to allow your awareness to merge with the sensations of the inhale, the exhale, knowing that your inhale is Leaf's exhale, your exhale is Leaf's inhale, knowing that allowing your awareness to be carried on the flow of sensations of breath is allowing yourself to rest in this reciprocal exchange between your body and the body of Leaf, between your body and the body of Tree, between your body and the body of Forest. And allow your awareness to be carried in this effortless, reciprocal flow. When your mind is carried away with thoughts, as soon as you notice this, relax, let go of the thought, and allow your awareness to drop back down into your body and into the sensations of flow of the body's breathing. And allow yourself to be carried in this effortless, reciprocal flow. Know with Kabir that something inside you has reached to the place where the earth is breathing. Something inside you has reached to the place where the earth is breathing. It's not all up to you. The earth is breathing too. The body is breathing. Allow your awareness to be carried on this effortless, reciprocal flow. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings everywhere be free. And may I become all that I need to become to best enable this to happen for all our relations. Thank you all for bearing with me. And if anybody has anything they would like to say or share, I'm going to just make it so that you can unmute yourself if you want to do that. So if anybody would like to share anything, say anything. Nice to see you all.
I just was going to share, if you can see, I have a butterfly that just emerged from the chrysalis here. It's a monarch. I don't know whether you can see that.
I'm looking to see, where are you?
I'm in my yard. Can you see that, the butterfly?
Here?
Oh, over here, is it?
Oh, yeah.
It just emerged while you were talking.
Oh,
That's
wow.
amazing. Talk about synchronicity, no?
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
What does your Native American teacher call synchronicity?
Oh, he took breadcrumbs from the Creator to show we're on the right path. But that's beautiful. Yeah, and knowing that monarchs are so endangered now, there's so few of them. That's really beautiful.
Yeah, I put it in a container to keep it from the parasitic fly. So it just emerged. Now it's flapping its wings so that it will pump up its wings up. So it's quite a beautiful one. Yeah. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you very much. Appreciate all that you do. You really helped me through a lot of hard times. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Maureen. Thanks for sharing that. That's really beautiful. Yeah, thank you. Anybody else got any comments or anything, observations or sharings?
Experiences. Questions?
Thoughts about redwoods or reciprocity?
Or meditation questions?
Uh-huh. Anybody would prefer to type it into the chat box if you have any questions, comments.
Jim here. I have a thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the green leaf still connected to the bark and the brown leaf not connected anymore, it's somewhat of an illusion that it's not connected, because it will work its way down to the ground and become soil for the tree and for other new leaves.
Exactly. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So even the image of separateness is a delusion. It's kind of yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, Ellie.
Yeah, I can tell you a little story about those beautiful canyons in Big Sur. I also live in this area in Santa Barbara. I was hiking with my husband in the canyons, and we came across a very mysterious canyon in that there was a mineral deposits in the spring. It was a dark and foggy canyon along the coast right near where you are or were. And there, among the tall redwoods that were all in a circle, in the middle of those was an albino redwood tree. So the whole tree was white. And the big trees in the circle around it supported that albino redwood tree. It was absolutely the most amazing thing you have ever seen.
Right.
And anywhere where its little branches got out into the sun, that tree would turn brown. But the center was a white redwood tree. It was only about, maybe 4 or 5 feet tall. And it fit in the circle. You know how those redwoods make kind of a circle and nurture their babies in the circle. This was an albino redwood tree. It was, and the whole canyon was an amazing energy with the mineral spring there. And it was truly amazing. It's near, coming down from Fort Hunter Liggett on the way down to I think unfortunately now in one of the fires it burned out. We were always going to go back and there was a fire there, and I'm not sure if that situation came again, but it was truly an amazing experience.
Oh, wow, that's incredible.
Talk about reciprocity. That little thing was amazing.
Yeah, thank you, Ellie. That's incredible.
Here somebody asks who is fairly new with Buddhism where to start. And I think you sent me an email, so I will answer to you. And I don't know, are you in this area or do you live somewhere else? Sarah.
I live in Santa Barbara, actually Isla Vista.
Oh, great. Wonderful.
The neighbor.
Yeah, for a long time I did at St. Michael's University Church, the Monday nights.
Yes.
Yeah, and now we have Monday nights on Zoom, and that's actually more, nuts and bolts teaching if you still have time Monday nights. But I will also send you an email about resources about where to start. But I think the Monday night will help you.
Thank you.
So if anybody has questions, please just send them on to me and I will answer.
Thank you. Maya.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So the reciprocity theme I love, and this morning, every morning I intentionally spend a bit of time in my garden as much as possible, a little more time now than before with COVID. And I remember my dear mom, who I recently lost, encouraging me to do so and saying it's really good for your biorhythms in the morning to tune in with your plants. And it's that idea of that reciprocity and the interconnectedness. And I didn't realize you were going to be, or I hadn't remembered you'd be focusing on that this morning, but I had some really good moments in my garden thinking specifically about that and how Mom had said that and appreciating that today. So thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Maya. And there's, as you probably know, there's more and more sort of evidence coming out about just how incredibly beneficial in all kinds of ways. We were talking more philosophically today, maybe, about reciprocity, but there's so much work coming out now about around forest bathing and kind of and biophilia, and just kind of understanding how, and vitamin N, Richard Louv talks about vitamin N, and how being in and with nature really affects us in very, very real ways. Affects our immunity, affects our energy, and so yeah, it really happens. Yeah.
Yes.
What your mom describes, absolutely right.
And to see nature not as an object, we go out into beautiful nature to kind of use it as a backdrop, but to see ourselves, like Mary Oliver says, part of the family of things.
Find a place in the family of things. Yeah.
Nice.
There's a bit of humility in that. Yeah. And I think especially in this time of the delusion of separateness is kind of heating up a little bit, at least in our country and other parts of the world. I think we need it even more to balance. And it's coming forward in a way, no? isn't it?
To sort of positively choose and rest in experience of connectedness and connection. Yeah, I think that's right. Okay. Anybody else? Well, thank you all very much for joining us. Lovely to see you all. And we'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Michael.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you so much. Nice to see you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
Hi, Sally. I don't know if Maya is still here or just her picture. I think it's just her picture.
Just thank you both very much. That was wonderful. Both of you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Nice to see you. How are you, Malcolm?
You too.
Fine, thank you.
Good. 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 Good.
It's great going to the redwoods as well. You know, seeing.
Oh yeah, it was so lovely up there. It's just unbelievable. Yeah, I found a little spot in the middle of the forest where there was a picnic table, so I could just go there with my writing every day. So.
Gosh, how lovely! How lovely.
Yeah. Did
Wonderful.
you guys get up to Big Sur when you were here that time?
No. But never mind. You know, good to know that some of you do.
How are you, Sal? How are you doing?
I'm feeling very well, thanks. Yeah, I mean, these are there, but I'm feeling wonderful. Very good appetite, very good energy. I mean, I'm tired now because I've done a huge gardening all day today.
Oh yeah.
You know,
oh great.
But everything's good, and because of the fact that we have to physically distance, we're actually having a good spaced out summer with my brothers and their families. So, I mean, it's lovely. It's great to have them around. And Richard is actually driving up to the airport now as we speak. She's flying to Paris tomorrow morning to see her dad.
And she doesn't have to quarantine now?
Yeah, she has quarantine for 2 weeks here.
Yeah,
with Richard.
But she doesn't need to quarantine in Paris, I mean.
No, and she's hoping they'll accept, you know, distance and things, because it seems that the family don't. But she's going to do her best anyway with her dad, who's, as you know, he's 97, but he goes shopping, he doesn't wear masks, he doesn't wash his hands. I mean, he just is sort of in total denial. Right. But anyway, she'll do her best. But she had a few misgivings going off.
She can meet him in the store.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, she was feeling a little bit apprehensive about it all. And then she doesn't know whether she'll have to go into quarantine again when she comes back. I mean, things might have changed by then, but she may have to.
But at the moment, it sounds like European travel is kind of opening up a little bit.
Well, in some way, but not between Ireland and the UK, because they have a very high instance still.
Okay.
And it's going up a bit in Ireland as well, thanks to the travel. You know, it's rising up a little bit.
Oh, really?
So it's all we just all hope for the best.
And I heard Annette told me from Portugal, it's again shut down.
Really, in Portugal? I didn't know that.
Or people from Portugal has a spike, so
all right.
They can't travel anywhere, and nobody can come to Portugal.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Otherwise, you know, you two should visit sometimes Lisbon. I think they have a apartment with many rooms, which he has inherited from his family. So it's kind of very nice, very central.
Well, thank you for inviting us on Annette's back.
I just knew we would be happy.
You never know. You never know. It's nice to see her on screen anyway.
Yeah.
But so anyway, I mean, everybody would send their love if they were here.
Who's around at the moment? So Richard
and John and Fiona are down.
Oh, John and Fiona,
yeah. So we're all getting into the habit of just standing far apart, and you know.
And do you meet for meals and kind of eat distanced, kind
Yeah,
of.
well, I had Richard and Anne here. We had Richard and Anne. So we just sit at either ends of the table.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's pretty, I mean, they were out of quarantine by then. And we sat for most of the time in the garden at either ends of the table. But then it got too cold. We had to come in.
Yeah.
So, and I think John and Fiona are meant to be coming, but they've been down for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? We're all being very respectful. But we are. I mean, I know there are other people that aren't, but we are. And yourselves?
Yeah, I mean, things are here pretty, you know, pretty bad. California's, I think, had the highest incidence of new cases.
Really?
In the States, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
But at the same time, I mean, California's got a huge population, you know, 56 million people. So our high number is still relatively low compared to other areas.
I know.
And so, yeah, so I'm heading into the hospital shortly. I'm on call today, and everybody's all, you know, masked up and gowned up, and that's how it is going into all the stores. And we did have some friends over for dinner last night, and just sat out on the patio, you know.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
But no, but you can't make any plans about Europe yet, can you?
No.
No, we love to, but
I know.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can fly into Europe from the States at the moment.
Really? Oh, well, Richard and Anne did.
Oh, well, maybe with quarantine.
And Simon and Sarah are meant to be coming the 1st of August. You know, that family, they just do what they want to do. But they'll have to quarantine then, won't they?
They'll have to quarantine for 2 weeks, for sure they will, yeah. Because Simon's been, you know, is in New York, so that's kind of, although New York is doing better now than the rest of America. But still.
And Sarah's in Mexico, so.
Yeah, Mexico is very high as well.
So maybe
But she's actually gone up to Boston now. They've gone up.
It's like you can go if you're prepared to quarantine for 2 weeks. You know, that's what you have. And that, yeah,
we could just go to West Cork and quarantine there, and everybody comes and visits us in the garden.
We could. That's what we used to do with Richard and Anne. We'd bring boxes of food and leave it, you know, in the carport, and they'd come out and sort of talk from a very, very great distance for the first 2 weeks.
During the first 2 weeks, you didn't meet for dinner?
Oh, no, nothing like that. No, they were very good. They stayed put, and they would walk then at night, you know, I mean, you know, when nobody was around.
Yeah.
But they didn't go near shops. I mean, they didn't do anything like that at all.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's okay if you've got a 3-month break or something like that.
I know.
You've just got 2 weeks. It's not going to be.
Yeah, you don't want to be just stuck somewhere for 2 weeks.
I'm hoping things will be well enough in maybe October or November to come over for 2 weeks. And what I'd love to do is spend a few days of that in Ireland, you know, maybe.
That'd be great.
You know, if quarantine's over by then, if I don't have to quarantine, if it's possible to spend the first week in London and then come over for a few days to West Cork, something like that.
That'd be great. But let's hope so, Mike.
Let's hope so, yeah.
And that we all get together sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
So we'll let you go now because you probably need to eat and prepare for the hospital. And it's lovely to see you both. And Lucy?
Lucy's been sick, so she's on the mend. She
very sick.
Yeah, both of them very sick. They got terrible diarrhea, vomiting, kind of a real gastroenteritis, and not eating anything for days or drinking. So we had to take her to the vet, and she was on a drip. And
Goodness.
But today she seems a little better. She Lucy?
Oh, good. Oh, poor little things.
Yeah.
So listen, a big thank you both, and we'll see you next week, we hope.
Yeah, love to everybody. It was nice.
I will, of course, yeah. Lovely to see you both.
And it was great to have Emma last week and speak up.
I know she's actually in Cork this weekend with the family. They're staying with Fergal's family, so she's not tuning in. Oh, did she? No, Emma?
Yeah.
I didn't see Emma, I saw Ethna.
And say it was
Oh, really?
Really?
Oh, I didn't see them. I flipped
point-
over to see the butterfly,
point-
but I didn't see.
If she wants, at some point, we have her